Welcome to Yankee Stadium, home of a Sox win yesterday, 6-2 over the Yankees in comeback fashion. Sox going for the series win this evening on NBC Sports Chicago, home of the authentic fan. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you, and the Sox are playing their best baseball of the season right now. 10 wins in their last 13 games, and it's both sides of the ball.
There is no doubt the Sox are doing a lot of things right, and you can't put a winning streak together like that without doing many things right. You're going to score a lot of runs. You're not going to give up many. The defense is going to be good, and as you can see, when you're scoring 5.62 runs per game, you're going to do okay. Slugging percentage is good. The ERA a little above 3.5. So all things going very well, and hopefully this continues because the Sox have just about a month to go, and they'd like to get a little bit better.
If you're talking about getting better, if you were going to choose a most improved player on the White Sox here in 2018, Tim Anderson would have to be on the list.
We talk about his bat, we talk about his glove, we talk about every aspect of his game, but last night it was speed that turned the game around, and Tim showed just exactly how devastating speed can be. Cues this to the right side and the ball gets away from Voit, and when it does, Tim realizes that he can make it to second with no play. Then he decides, well, look, I need a stolen base, so he picks one up, and there was no play. There was a play here, however, as he anticipates his ball getting away. It got away just far enough, and he scores easily. So Tim turned it around with his speed, and last night the Sox did a lot of things right. They caught a very tired Yankee ball club, and we'll see tonight if there's any carryover from all of those games they had to play in a short period of time.
Lance Lynn, James Shields, your pitching matchup, and the Sox hoping to get another opportunity with the bases loaded for Yoan Moncada. He's done well with those on this road trip at Detroit. Wall ball, see you later. Last night, a couple runs come in. That one shot through to center field. Sox and Yankees on the way.
Tested, trusted, Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
Monument Park at Yankee Stadium, celebrating some of the legends of this cornerstone franchise in Major League Baseball. And the directions there are, if you see a fork in the road, take it. Sox and Yankees, game number 2 of a 3-game series. Lance Lynn and James Shields, couple of veterans on the mound. James getting some warmth from his teammates inside the dugout. The elder statesman of this Sox rotation will try to keep going what we saw yesterday from Carlos Rodon. 7 innings, 2 earned runs, just 2 hits allowed, and he put the Sox in line for that victory. Time now for the Webb Auto Group starting lineup for the White Sox, brought to you by the Webb Auto Group. The best lineup of Chevys, Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best price. Go to webcars.com. Yolmer at the top had a hit yesterday, then Nicky at 2. Garcia, Palka, and Davidson. Narvaez once again catching. Anderson, Moncada, and Engel off a 3-hit day.
The defensive setup for the Yankees, and this is how Aaron Boone is going to put them out there tonight. It's Gardner, Hickson, Stanton. In the infield, Andujar, Torres, and Bird. Greg Bird getting a start at first base tonight. Austin Romine has the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Lance Lynn. Traded over from the Twins. There you see he's making his 25th start. Below 500 record, ERA, knocking at the door of 5. He is a fastball pitcher, plain and simple. He will throw the occasional slider or breaking ball. However, it's mostly fastballs, and if you can hit it, that's good. If you can't, well, we saw what happened when you can't, because he handled our ball club in Chicago very well. Umpires for the game today. Pat Hoberg has the plate. Brian Knights at first. Chad Whitson at second, and Mark Carlson is at third. So we're ready to play baseball as the Sox try to win the second of a 3-game series. I'm ready to turn it over to my lightning quick play-by-play man, Jason Benetti.
It's opposite days. Tony, thank you very much. Sanchez leads it off, then Delmonico and Garcia to face Lance Lynn, whose first pitch is not surprisingly a fastball. It's a strike, and we are underway. So you mentioned last time the Sox saw Lynn, it was August the 6th. So 22 days ago, and his roughest inning in that game was the first. It included a walk of Yolmer Sanchez on 5 pitches with 1 out. Then Daniel Palka singled, and the Sox had 2 on against Lynn for the only time that night in a 7-0 Yankees victory.
That was probably the best he's looked in a Yankee uniform by far, but he had everything going that night.
A little bit outside, 1-2.
Lance Lynn with 50 strikeouts, just 5 walks against our Sox, and one of the reasons is we have a very aggressive team, swinging at just about everything, and Lynn normally has good control.
That includes a start with Minnesota. He went 6 innings, 8 hits, 2 earned runs, didn't walk a soul, and struck out 7. So he's got 2 starts this year with no walks, and 1 came against the Sox, because it's a little stickier in the Bronx tonight, but not as bad as we expected.
No, it's 96 degrees at game time. That's up 10 degrees from last night's game. However, it doesn't appear to be quite as humid as it was last night.
I would actually say it felt hotter yesterday because of the humidity, but the numbers don't bear it out.
Yolmer has been the walking man recently, 9 walks the last 7 games, so the eye has been good. He's putting the bat on the ball, and he's trying to start it off in good shape with the outfield swung around toward left center.
On the ground, second base, Torres throws Sanchez out. Oh no, he didn't. Bird didn't hang on to the ball, and he says my bad, and yes it was. Wow, a routine out, goes falling to the deck for the first base runner after 3 errors last night for the Yankees.
Safe to say that this would be E3.
My goodness.
Bird said It's his fault? No kidding.
Yeah, he got that right.
I mean, whose fault would it be?
How does that happen?
I don't know. He's looking at his glove. Believe me, Greg, it's not the glove.
User error, as they say. Here's Nicky Delmonico. You know, the Yankees show up here after the sweep in Baltimore. They're 6 games back of Boston. Alex Cora has said that he feels like the Yankees are playing better baseball than Aaron Boone and his team were earlier this year. Maybe better baseball than the Red Sox right now. But last night, you read the stuff written about the team and how frustrated fans were about last night's game. This is compounding things.
Well, I believe what's happened to them is very simple. They played a whole lot of games in a very few days. It was a split doubleheader on Saturday in Baltimore. Whenever you have a split, you're there all day long. Then you go into a Sunday night game in Baltimore. You get back here, you show up at the park. You probably got back to your house at 4:30.
Nicky in the air, center field. Aaron Hicks is on the case, and he puts the ball away, which is new. 1 down.
So I think they were suffering just a little. It's not really jet lag because it's not all that far, but just a time lag. They spent a lot of time at the ballpark recently because they are the Yankees. And if you're the Yankees or the Red Sox, you're going to be playing a lot of Sunday night games. When you play Sunday night, you're going to get into wherever you're going. In this case, it was New York, their home park. You're going to get in late. And that's exactly what happened. And last night, they didn't look like a typical Yankee ball club.
Part of that was Carlos Rodon, who threw the ball once again very well for the Sox.
He was exceptional last night again. 2 hits in 7 innings. Carlos has been throwing it as well as anybody in the league. The ERA is way down there. And he's got so much confidence now. He feels he can throw everything exactly where he wants it. And then when he gets to a slider, he's going to wipe you out.
7th inning last night, Carlos walked a pair, then got behind Kyle Higashioka, and on 3-1 he got a pop out. The next batter grounded into a double play, and that was all she wrote for the Yankees. Sanchez at first off the error by Bird. Carlos last night had it all going again.
That was a backdoor slider, and Stanton just gave up on it. Some good D. And it was that kind of night. Carlos got himself out of the very few jams he was in, and Don Cooper certainly appreciated the effort.
Strike 3. Sanchez swipes second base. So you take a look at the lowest ERAs over the past couple of months in Major League Baseball, and Carlos Rodon is part of that group. It's a 1.84 since July the 1st. That's 4th best in Major League Baseball.
It's been an amazing run. And he's got that record up to 6-3. His ERA down to 2.70 overall. It's just 14 starts. But this year, maybe he gets to 20 starts. The usual compliment for a pitcher pitching all year long is right around 32 starts.
Well, and you've got a guy who's showing more maturity. He's showing front of the rotation stuff, which we knew he had, but front of the rotation psychology to go along with it.
Well, I think right along with his arm and to a certain extent his body, since coming back from a delayed spring training, his mind also has progressed.
You see the innings where Carlos gives up runs. They're not as big of innings as they previously had been. For example, the 4th inning yesterday, he loses Andujar to lead off the inning, then gets a fly ball from Voit deep in a count, gives up the home run to Torres, but then 2 outs in a row, and those are the only runs he gives up.
Well, just 2 hits combined, and when you're not walking a whole lot of people, if you only give up a couple of hits, unless there's a bunch of errors behind you, you're usually going to work out okay. I think he's taught himself, along with Don Cooper talking to him about it, had a tendency when things didn't go well, especially when an umpire was squeezing him, as he felt last night was the case a couple of times with Mark Carlson. He tended to get upset. It's a natural thing to do. When you believe you made a good pitch, you don't get it, you get upset. But for a pitcher, that leads to earned runs. And I think Carlos is starting to learn that you can get upset, but then you have to take a minute, get your composure back, and then make the next pitch like you made the previous 10 or 15 pitches, with your mind squarely where it has to be successful.
2-2 for Polka. Sanchez at second. And he struck him out. Lance Lynn with 2 punch-outs in the inning, throwing over the error. James Shields, his 400th start begins after this. His lefties are back. Gardner at the top spot. Stanton, Hicks, and Andujar. Then Voit, Torres, and Bird, another left-hander. Romine and Torres, the starting 9.
The defensive setup for our Sox, put out there by Ricky Renteria. And we'll go left to right with Nicky, Adam, and Avisail in the outfield. Then Yolmer, Tim, Yoan, and Matt in the infield, with Omar Narvaez getting the nod behind the plate. And our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is James Shields, on for his 28th start, 29th game overall. You look at the strikeouts per innings pitched, pretty good. James's one big problem is keeping the ball in the ballpark on occasion, although for the most part this year he's kept it in the park a little bit better than he did last year, except last time out gave up the 3 home runs.
One of just 4 starts this year when he's allowed more than 2 home runs. That last start you were talking about at Detroit. 400th start for James Shields, a milestone that when he started the year he was hoping he would get to here in 2018.
Well, it took staying healthy. It took just taking the baseball, which he's never had a problem doing. So that part of it has been really good. The durability has been amazing, and the quality starts that he's piled up, as well as the amount of times he's gone 6 innings or more, has been, it's kind of deceptive when you look at his record.
Foul ball wide of first, 2-1. He's been an innings eater for the Sox, especially, and we talked about it yesterday, in the context of a young rotation. James has been the guy to help out the next guys the next few days. They don't have to eat up extra innings in the bullpen, certainly.
He also gives his staff a veteran who's been through everything, and that was one of the keys at the beginning of the year. A lot of people, and justifiably so, looked up to James because of what he accomplished in the game, and the durability, and the 200 innings every year, and the amount of starts he was able to accomplish. It's still awfully good despite the numbers.
In the air left field, Delmonico camps and makes the catch for out number 1. So James Shields, 400 starts in his major league career. Born in 1981 in December. Bartolo Colon currently is number 1. Felix Hernandez will join the 400 club later on tonight. That game is at 10:10 Eastern, 9:10 Central Time at San Diego. But Big Bartolo at 5:51.
5:51 and still going fairly strong.
After looking at that list, there are young pitchers out there. As this ball is clubbed to center field. Engel regains his balance. Hope Adams okay out there. He's robbed home runs, and now he robs the turf monster.
Looks like he landed poorly, and hopefully he's going to be okay. Hopefully he just got caught up with the turf. Ricky wants to know if he should go out, whether he needs him. This ball's hit awfully hard. Adams starts across, then stumbles, but able to regain his composure and his balance and make the catch.
That's a terrific play, actually, to recover.
Well, we told him not to water center field all that much. So, I mean, you know, I guess that's home field advantage, knowing where the wet spots are.
Adam, who's got such amazing timing out there in center field, you see him glide to the wall and then jump to make these catches. And then suddenly that run to the spot ends up becoming treacherous for him.
But the thing about Adam recently, you anticipate that he's going to catch everything. But he's starting to hit everything. That's been the amazing part of this offensive run he's on.
That ball is hit well and foul, 1-1. All right, so when he did keep his feet against the Yankees a couple of weeks ago, this is the first one in left center. This is the second one.
Once
right
again in left center.
Side. Yeah. Guy with the neck brace was enjoying it. I still, seems like Adam doesn't know how good that right leg is still, based on the reaction that he's giving there.
Well, he's going to find out if we see one more ball hit even close to center field, because that's when he's going to have to turn it on.
By the way, when that ball was hit, we were looking at that list of 400 start guys or more, and Bartolo Colon and CC Sabathia are #1 on the list. There are young pitchers out there watching this telecast saying, well, I go to all these lessons and I do this, I should just eat. Those are two big dudes that have stayed very healthy in their careers for the most part. There's ball 4.
Well, the thing with CC is that he did a couple of different times experiment with losing a great deal of weight, getting himself in good shape. He was a terrific athlete, great basketball player, can field his position very well. Before the knees gave out, he was a whole lot better than he is in these days, but he lost the weight, then couldn't get anybody out, and then regained the weight and started throwing the ball very well again. So look, your job is not to look good at the beach. It's to get people out, and you get yourself in shape to get those people out. And Sabathia, who has been around a long time, is 7-4 this year, 3.30 ERA in 23 starts. That's pretty good.
I say that in no disparaging way to either of them.
Yep.
I like the idea that for baseball players offensively, there are different batting stances, different body types. Sometimes you get so cookie cutter, everybody tries to be the same one thing, and you see the great success those guys have had, and they get off the bus and you don't necessarily think Cy Young candidate. 2 balls, no strikes on Andujar, who was 0 for 3 last night. One of the top young players offensively in baseball, who made his debut against the Sox with 3 hits. You remember last year.
You got 3 rookies in the ball game tonight. Andujar, Torres, and Palka. 21, 20, and 19 home runs respectively. So 3 young players burst on the scene having really nice years.
Tim at shortstop gobbles it up and easily threads it through to first for round number 3. Adam lost his feet, got himself back up right there and made the catch, and any good golfer replaces his divot.
tonight's game.
I look forward to that every night.
I am terribly excited by the Miller moment.
Your tone says it all.
Trying to figure out just exactly what it's going to be. That's the key. Not knowing there is one, because we know there is one.
Oh, yeah.
Which one it will be.
Well, earlier this year, it came in the 13th inning between the Sox and Yankees back in early August. And we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on Bellevue Municipal Cable in Bellevue, Iowa, out in eastern Iowa. So hello to you. Matt Davidson, ball and a strike. Playing first base once again. Getting to not only interact with the grass, as he says, but interact with everybody getting over to first base as well. You get to be more social.
And he has an advantage in this ballpark because it's very easy for a right-hand hitter to lift the ball out in right center field. Not going to do it on a pitch if he throws it inside like that, but more times than not, Lynn will stay away from the right-hand hitters.
Lance Lynn throws a lot of fastballs. Like a lot of fastballs.
It's really amazing when you consider that it's a good fastball, just not a great fastball.
Right field on a line. Stanton back at the track, and it's off his glove. Davidson's on his way to second base, and the throw there is late, so Matt pulls into second with a two-base hit to lead off the second.
Matt takes the ball the other way. Stanton thought that he should have made that catch. It was in the glove, but Stanton is a really good hitter. And as a defender, he remains a really good hitter. He goes up, it hits the heel of the glove, bounds away, and a promising start to the second inning.
Stanton really struggled yesterday against Carlos Rodon, and the Yankees continue to not make the above average play or even the below average play in this series.
Since being swept by the Red Sox, this Yankee team is 15-6, so they had a wake-up call in Boston, and now starting to play pretty good baseball. What's happened to them is they got so many key players hurt. Judge is still out. You know, they said 4 to 6 weeks when he broke his hand with that pitch, or broke his wrist rather, and then all of a sudden people start saying, well, maybe he'll be back in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But look, this is a terrific player and a wonderful hitter, but he's not Superman.
On the ground to first base, Omar gets Matt on to third. Yeah, it seemed like a very ambitious timeline.
Well, it was, and it couldn't possibly come true because, you know, you break a bone in your wrist. It's going to take a certain amount of time to heal, and plus you can't just, after, in this case, it's been 5 weeks already, he still hasn't swung a bat.
Yeah.
You can't just go back into the lineup and now here I am and now start hitting like you did before you went on the shelf. It doesn't work that way. So this is going to be a lot longer. They're going to get Gregorius back again.
He's very gregarious.
And he is that. And he has a heel problem, but he seems to think that he'll be back. They're hoping Sanchez comes back.
Yeah, Sanchez DHing tonight at AAA. He had that shroud around his injury. People thought he was dogging a play, and instead he got hurt in Tampa.
You know, the oddity of New York is this. Your manager pays you a compliment because Sanchez has worked pretty hard in coming back. He's actually lost somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 pounds during his rehab, which is unusual because you're not playing, you're not catching every day, but he's done it. And so Aaron Boone says and pays him a compliment about how good a shape he's in. So the New York writers then say, oh, are you saying that he wasn't in good shape before? They're trying to make this big story about Aaron Boone blasting Sanchez for not being in shape during the course of a championship season. That wasn't his intention. He was just
better shape.
He was in complimenting him, for getting in terrific shape.
Well, Aaron knows what it's like. More than half of the Yankee managers all time have played for this team. So typically going into that role, you know what you're going to face, or you think you do.
Yep.
And then suddenly you're getting the questions every day, not just some days. And
every day, and there's not innocuous questions. They might appear to be, but there's always a follow-up that will get you.
Swing and a miss, strike three. third strikeout for Lynn.
So Lynn throws that one. It dives down and out of the zone, and Tim, who needed some contact to drive home the first run of the ball game, comes up empty.
2 down. Moncada with Davidson still at third. We mentioned Lynn throws fastballs, and it is 89% fastball, the most of any pitcher in Major League Baseball who's thrown more than 1,000 pitches this year.
Well, he throws them differently, but they're still fastballs. I mean,
Right.
he'll throw a 2-seamer and a 4-seamer. That last one sunk.
That one looked like it rose.
Yeah, I mean, look, 94, he threw right down the middle. He wanted to get ahead. And you see right there, between the sinker, which is a fastball, and the fastball, as well as the cutter, which essentially is a fastball. That's a whole lot of pitches used with a fastball or a variation.
Moncada scatters the Sox dugout. Get off that railing, he says. One RBI in his last 4. Has a hit as well in the last 4 each. He's 0-2 from Lynn here with Davidson at third. And he does not pull the trigger on the fastball up. Yankees 6.5 back of Boston. The Red Sox are home today for Miami, playing interleague play with persona non grata in Georgia. Jose Urena on the mound for the Fish. Moncada to right field. Stanton for out number 3. Davidson left at third after a leadoff double.
Wisconsin, glacier carved and Pete Dye designed. Play 4 of Golf Digest's top 100 public courses, including Whistling Straits, home of the 2020 Ryder Cup. Those are beautiful golf courses. It'd make just a great little vacation.
Pretty soon you're not going to be able to go out on the links. It's going to be cold.
You got probably another good 6-7 weeks. Maybe,
I hope so.
maybe a little bit more than that for Kohler, Wisconsin, I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Thought maybe you'd become Punxsutawney Phil. You're telling us when winter starts. You see your shadow?
I did.
James Shields to Luke Voigt, the former Cardinal. And that one one breaks out of the zone. 1-2. Big news from the Cardinals today. Mike Schilt no longer the interim manager for St. Louis.
I think it's great because he performed. His team has performed for him, and he was rewarded with a 3-year deal. That's nice.
It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, their numbers since that change have been striking, and there are reasons, a lot of reasons. The bullpen was reformed. Carpenter is just crushing the ball, but it seems like they're in a much better place overall, and it speaks to the value of the manager still in a baseball clubhouse.
Yeah, and I love the fact that the Cardinals did not sit back and say, okay, we'll make the change next year if we're going to make the change.
Shields strikes out Voit. 1 gone.
They went out and said, we're not going to give up on this year. We're going to make a change and see how it plays out, and it's played out really well for the Cardinals.
They're firmly in wild card contention at the very least in the National League. The top wild card team right now at 73-58.
Pretty hard to believe, as long as the Yankees have been around and as talented as the Yankees have been, and they've been supremely talented. They've never had a pair of rookies hit 20 or more home runs.
Isn't that amazing?
It really is amazing, but it shows you that for years this was a veteran laden team. If they brought one rookie in, it was a lot. And there you see what Torres will do, and that is pull the ball.
He'll pull it out of here if you let him.
I played with a Yankee, and I'll tell you about it. As you see, the 2 Yankees that hit the home runs, and
well, first time in 10 years, Votto and Bruce.
Yep.
10 years ago. And some big time pairings there.
I played with the Yankee, and I was with the White Sox at the time. It was the spring of '77, going into the Southside Hitmen. Fritz Peterson, who was a former Yankee and had shoulder surgery, never really could pitch much again, but told me a story of some Yankee, a young player, very young player, 1 year. He was a rookie. And the season was over and they were leaving. It was not a particularly good year for the Yankees, but it was a while ago. It was, you know, so at 77, this was probably maybe the late 60s, early 70s.
So they're leaving at the end of the season.
They're leaving at the end of the year, and he says, I'll send you a Christmas card to this veteran. The veteran said, I don't want to hear from you until you've been here 5 or 6 years.
Huh.
And that was what the Yankees essentially were all about, because they had a veteran team. I mean, they were all together for a long period of time, and they didn't accept rookies. It was an era where you didn't accept rookies. You wanted them not to say anything till they were established. That era, as you know, has gone by the boards, and I think that's a good thing, not a bad thing.
Yeah, it allows for a more welcoming clubhouse. We were just talking about St. Louis. There was that story about Bud Norris and some of the things he was doing in the clubhouse, and it seemed like a fractured sort of situation. They've improved that, and lo and behold, they're winning more ball games.
Yep, they are, and I think you hit it right on the head, Jason.
Sanchez was not hit on the head in the glove. It's out number 2. You were saying, I don't want to interrupt you saying I was right.
Right,
So,
yeah, as much as I hate to admit this,
yeah.
you did mention that there is still a premium, although these weren't your words. There's still a premium on managers in baseball, and we're seeing it in St. Louis. What happens when you change a manager, and sometimes it changes the chemistry, sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes the results can be striking, and that's been the case this year. So I think we're seeing St. Louis make a very good move. It was a calculated gamble, and it's paid off to this point.
If the belief is that everybody has the same proprietary numbers and analytics, and everybody's just kind of distilling them differently, maybe, just maybe, the edge is having somebody in the clubhouse extracting more out of your guys than other people are doing in their clubhouse.
Well, I do believe, and Rick Hahn talked about this when I asked him about, with everybody now with rooms full of computer people, how much of it?
Well, they're people with computers. They're not computer people.
Well, I mean, you know, they're conversant in it, and they spend a great deal of time on it, and it's how they view baseball through the prism that is a computer and all the stats that you get. And he said he thought about 80% of all of the information gathered was information that everybody had.
Yeah.
Leaving 20% of the information to be proprietary. If that's the case, when there's a small amount of improvement you could make with the numbers, with the computers, I asked him what he felt the next thing would be, because I knew what I felt, and we had the same idea. It's the human element. We will go back. We will go back to better scouts or older scouts. I mean, that's just what's going to happen in this game.
In the air right field. Avi at the warning track. He's up to make the grab. James loves it. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Shields. Abisail Garcia getting some air in New York. Saturday, September 8th. Get this ticket package for exclusive entry to the pregame crawl before the Sox take on the Angels at 6:10 p.m. You'll receive an official Sox Crawl t-shirt, have the chance to play games, win prizes, and more. For more information, visit whitesox.com/SoxCrawl today. Sox will be back home for quite a while starting on Thursday against the Red Sox. 4 with Boston, as the Sox have a lot to say about the American League East this week. Adam Engel, who is 15 for his last 35.
He's on a remarkable run, and plus it's not a soft 15 for 35. He's been hitting the ball with authority.
Yeah, it's not luck at this point.
No.
And when you see the different skills he provides, he flashed bunt on that first pitch. We've seen him do it.
The only time they got him out last night was a spectacular play by Shane Robinson in left field, diving to take one away. So 3 for 4 could have easily been 4 for 4.
Wondering how that knee's feeling. Adam, as he just squatted with that pitch, kind of went up and down a couple of times. Fouled away, 2-2. So last 15 games for Adam, he's got 8 multi-hit games, and 6 of his last 9 starts he's had at least 2 hits. So there's a pile of hits there for Adam, and again, we've talked about it. He doesn't need to be a 300 hitter because his defense is stellar.
I put the number, and again, this is me, this is nobody else. I put the number at 250. I thought if he could hit 250, he would be a huge asset to the ball club, because you can't find center fielders as good as he is.
On the ground, up the middle, Torres off the spin. Has out number 1.
Torres shows you just how much ability he has on the defensive side of the equation, ranging to his left, the 360 spin, and threw it right on the money. This is a strong play. Left side of the infield for the Yankees is very young. They also are very talented. The problem is there's 2 shortstops. Andujar is a shortstop. Torres currently a shortstop, but Andujar having to learn how to play third base, and it has not been the easiest transition.
And when you put Didi Gregorius in that lineup, everybody shifts around again.
Yep. They will. Gregorius gives them that balance in the lineup that they desperately need with all the right-handed bangers they have. You like to see a guy swing the bat from the left side, and Gregorius does that. 22 home runs, 74 driven in, and a .270 batting average.
They got 9 guys with at least 10 home runs. Oh, 1 laced left side, base hit. Sanchez goes the opposite way for the Sox second hit. Now here's Delmonico. Nicky missed just about 2 months with that broken hand. And now starting to find the power stroke again. So Yolmer now 16 straight games on base. That's a career high. Do you think on-base streak should continue with reached on errors?
I was just thinking that same thing.
Were you really?
Yeah, because I looked at the air and I thought, well, he had already, and then nah, he really didn't. And should it be? Probably not, because
Really?
it is 0 for 1. So, you know, it's not like getting hit, not like a walk or a base hit, certainly.
But you put the ball in play. You did enough
Yep.
to put pressure on the defense.
You did. I think that you have to do something in a positive nature to keep that on base streak going, and he just did it.
Loop to short, Torres for round number 2. So Avi will bat with Yolmer at first.
This is the 5th start in a Yankee uniform for Lance Lynn. He had 1 relief appearance for the Yankees, but in just short of 29 innings. He's only given up 1 home run in a Yankee uniform. He gave up 13 while he was pitching for the Twins, and that was in 24 starts.
Born in Indianapolis, went to high school in Brownsburg. Lance Lynn, same high school as Tucker Barnhart and Drew Storen. Avi is, and always has been, a free swinger at the plate. So first pitch hunting there, and 0-1. Avi just 1 for 13 with 8 strikeouts against Lynn in his career. Third base side, short hop and a boot. Sanchez to second, Avi to first.
That is going to be E5. We talked about the problems in adjusting to a brand new position, and that's what Andujar's had to do. That's error number 14. So between Torres's 15 errors and Andujar's 14, it's not a solid left side of the infield.
Well, New York City FC, the MLS club, plays here at Yankee Stadium, and the fans did not buy New York City FC tickets tonight. They prefer to see baseball. Here's Daniel, who got scraped on the hand, hit by a pitch from Masahiro Tanaka in the 4th inning yesterday. And for a moment, if you're watching and you're seeing the movements of the players involved, it looked like Polka kind of stared out at Tanaka. But talking to Daniel before the game, he said he had previously been hit on the hamate bone and had it broken 4 years ago. So the first thing he thought when the ball hit him was, oh no, I broke my hand again. And with the season he's having, he said, I could not lose that last month of this year to show that I can build on what I've already done. So he kind of spaced out, he said. He did not, according to him, he did not mean anything when he was looking out at Tanaka. He was just kind of in shock that he thought maybe he was going to lose the rest of his season. Outside, ball 3.
Well, I think Higashioka behind the plate also thought that he was looking out at him because he quickly went and got between Palka and Tanaka. That's something as a pitcher you really respect in a catcher.
Yep.
Because normally, unless you're a very large pitcher, that hitter is going to be a bit bigger than you. You want your catcher to come out and act as a buffer between you and a guy who's enraged because he hit him.
There's ball 4. Palka is on. Base is loaded, 2 down, and Matt Davidson. Who's the best buffer you had? Or saw?
Yeah, I think for me it was Rick Dempsey. He was the best a lot of things that I had as a catcher. But he was one of those guys that didn't appear to be quite as tough as he was, but you were not going to get through him.
No.
No. Doesn't matter who you were. Doesn't matter what the situation. He was going to protect me. I was feeling pretty good.
That one nearly hit Davidson, ball number 1. What a luxury to have for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty nice, especially when you lead the league one year and hit batsmen.
Could also slide on a tarp.
Maybe you could do some of that.
Asked him to.
Showbiz family, by the way, like Lucas Giolito.
Is that right?
Yeah.
One-0. It's downstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. So Lynn has lost command 6 in a row out of the zone since the error by Andujar.
Now Matt might get the one fastball he was looking for, as Larry Rothschild does not want to go to the bullpen quite this early, and his starting pitcher has been victimized by a leaky defense as opposed to the inability to get some people out.
Larry Rothschild, the pride of Homewood Flossmoor High School. 2-0. Good spot for it by Lynn. 2-1. .52 pitches total for Lance Lynn. Number 20 of the inning is coming to Davidson. 1 hit, 1 error, 1 walk. On 2-1. That's down low. 3 balls and a strike.
Homer in the on deck circle, and he has been red hot. Came in tonight, that batting average was up at 288.
3-1. On the ground is shortstop. Torres feeds to Reyes. Couple of landmines dodged by Lynn.
take a look at the eyes of Adam Engel. He slips but never loses sight of the baseball. He's able to make the catch. And Avi goes back a couple of steps in the middle of the track, makes the leap and makes the play. So good defense on the part of the Sox. Not particularly good on the part of the Yankees.
Sox have stranded 5 so far in this game. As there is the first hit of the night for New York. It's off the bat of Austin Romine on the first pitch of the home third.
In the absence of Gary Sanchez, Romine has really done a nice job. Batting average at .256 coming in. He's had a whole lot of the play and doing a good job of it.
Mentioned Sanchez playing in AAA with the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders tonight. He's 0 for 1 on that rehab assignment. At least so far in that game. First one, a strike to Torreyes, who's made now 3 appearances, 3 separate stints with the Yankees in the big leagues this year, spending a good chunk of the season with AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre as well. He's got a hit in 15 of his 20 starts this year with the Yankees. James drops down and gets a swing and a miss. 0-2. James is willing to play arm angle roulette.
You got to make an adjustment. If things aren't going well, you try to show the hitters something they have not seen. And that's what James has done a whole lot of this year. And for the most part, it's worked for him.
A glance at Romine at first. 0-2 on Torreyes. He struck him out. Second punch out for James Shields tonight. And now time for our Rocket Mortgage breakdown. And this is rather surprising. Most batters faced this season. James Shields is #1. We've talked about him as an innings eater. He'll go out there and face as many as you want him to.
Pretty amazing. Most batters face this year, and he'll continue because he'll continue to take the baseball as long as they give it to him. He will continue and could very well that he ends up on top.
I think if you ask Don Cooper, he'd like to have 2 of a guy like James Shields just to eat innings and ease the burden on your bullpen. And I think as people look at bullpens, they forget that sometimes you go through these pockets without an off day, and it's not just, oh, throw your best guy out there every game. You can't do that. You have to balance out the workload. And some people looked at each other quizzically last night when you have a guy coming in out of the bullpen throwing an inning in 2/3, and then the final out goes to a different guy. When Manaea comes out and Cedeno comes in, the idea there in part was to keep Manaea available to face a couple of batters tonight rather than run him into the ground yesterday. One ball and 2 strikes, but it has been the MO of Ricky Renteria this season and Don Cooper to go ahead and piecemeal that 9th inning.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, without that Kimbrel at the back end, or when he's healthy, or Aroldis Chapman at the back end, when you don't have that guy who's 90% or so and above save proficiency, then you do have to mix and match, and that's been the plight of Ricky this year. That's what he's had to do.
One-two with 1 out. Swing and a miss. That's strike 3 again. Back-to-back punch outs for Shields.
We'll take a look at this, and this is a cutter. and had enough sink to it to perhaps be a slider. It was a very good pitch. Narvaez does a nice job of moving to his right and smothering that ball in the dirt. James trying to pitch his way out of the third.
Two out, one on. Stanton the batter. One shy of 300 career home runs, Giancarlo Stanton. And coming into this game, since he'd hit number 299, Stanton had an average of 161. So we talked about it yesterday, that sometimes that can wear on you and sit on your brain. And it has, seemingly, for Stanton. Now, we have an embarrassment of riches at this point in this series, Steve. You know that we got Chris Kamka in the truck, who has stats literally falling out of his beard. And then our stage manager, Brian, is the one who actually went home last night, went to Baseball Reference, and figured out Stanton's numbers since home run number 299. So we just have so many computer people, as you say, here in.
Well, he's reached base in 21 straight games, so although he's not hitting the ball out of the park, he will.
Downstairs, bouncing away. Omar can't find it, and Romine's going to stop at second base.
That was the middle of the body, and Omar tried to backhand it. Normally, that ball's going to bounce away, and this one did. You just don't want to backhand that ball in the dirt. He lost track of it. Romine was going to take second anyway, just stays there. And that is a wild pitch.
All right, so 3-0 on Stanton. Let's see what each player decides to do with this situation. James throws a strike down the middle. Stanton watches. Romine at second, 2 down. On the ground at third. Sanchez across the way for out number 3. And the first hit for the Yankees yields nothing. No score after 3. Mobile. And for the Yankees, it didn't start so hot. A bird in the hand is worth 2 on the ground. And then Stanton in right field.
Not great.
Nope.
That's not great. However, no runs, despite the leaky defense.
Ironically named Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Our truck has a sense of humor. And there is strike one to Narvaez. Omar grounded out to first base back in the second inning. And he tried to do it there. It's 0-2. Well, 2 veterans, both of them for the most part not walking anybody. A walk for each team so far. Ball and 2 strikes on Narvaez. We talked about the batting average over the past about 2 months now for Omar, but as you've mentioned, he's hitting the ball hard as well. He's slugging nearly .600 the last 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, he's been hitting with authority.
Line drive right field, and that'll get the job done. Leadoff single here in the 4th.
Since June 7th, he's hitting .368, which is absolutely remarkable. Takes a low fastball, dumps it in front of Stanton, and a promising way to start the 4th inning.
He's on for Anderson. Tim takes a strike. Red Sox have taken a lead tonight 3-1 over Miami. That's at Fenway Park in the 4th inning. So that's 6.5 game lead for Boston. Is ahead of the Yankees, and Tampa Bay, even though it's one of the hottest teams in baseball, has fallen out of it 19.5 back after the sweep of the Red Sox over the weekend. Into the glove, strike 3, second punch out of Anderson for Lance Lynn. And here's your Sox math question for tonight. First correct answer on Twitter wins a prize from the road. Number of runs Rodon allowed yesterday multiplied by runs Anderson drove in yesterday, plus home runs Polka's hit this year minus Yolmer's jersey. You got this one.
This is an easy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
156.
Really?
No.
Thought I had a couple less than that, but okay.
You have to look out for the fake Sox math answers. There's a first pitch strike on Yoan Moncada, who flied out to right in the second inning. On the ground left side. Torres gets 1, and that's all. So here's Adam, who grounded out to shortstop his first time up. He takes strike one. So Moncada took a first pitch strike in that last at bat. Kind of been watching his first pitches that he's been getting in his at bats the past week or so, since the Sox have talked to him about being more aggressive early in counts, and pitchers generally have made pretty strong first pitches against him. That one Lynn threw was right on the outside corner, so then you're kind of caught in the middle of, do I swing just for the sake of being aggressive to show that I'm learning, or do I take that pitch, end up down in the count because he just aced me?
Well, normally you're looking for a first ball fastball, but from a pitcher who throws close to 90% fastballs, you pretty much can guarantee you're going to get one of those. Just kind of depends on what he chooses to do with it, because he can make the ball move a number of different ways. You can't survive in this league as long as he has, with the numbers he put up in St. Louis especially, unless your fastball does something, especially when you throw it close to 90% of the time. Very few pitchers, if any, can get away with that in the major leagues, but Lynn has been able to do it. I still think you have to go up. If you get a first ball fastball, that's the one that you want to sit on.
Upstairs, 1 and 2. Why in this case with Lynn?
Well, let's take the at bat previous. A Moncada at bat where he hit a fly ball to Stanton. It was a soft fly ball that he hit. But the first pitch he got that at bat was the best pitch he saw in the at bat. It was a fastball right down the middle. Yoan chose to take it. He never saw another pitch in that at bat that was close to as hittable as the first pitch. So sometimes, I mean, that's going to be the best you're going to get. And if you just concede that, again, if you're not Joe Mauer, who very rarely, if ever, swings at the first pitch, if you're not that guy where you know you're going to put the bat on the ball in the at bat somewhere, you still have to be ready for the first fastball.
One, two. Struck him out inside with a fastball. Lynn, 5 punch outs. We are in a New York state of mind, and we'll see what Ricky Renteria has to say about music and the Big Apple after this. Big music buff. Kinda. What is the best song about New York, and why?
Wow. Obviously, New York. It's, you know, world renowned. Frank Sinatra. You know, it probably talks about the city as well as anybody can articulate a song, and it's pretty cool song. You know, and he's written many of them, but I think New York. Unless you want to go back to Jay-Z and Beyonce, but that's for another day.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Ricky Renteria with the classics, the crooners.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of those.
He got everything on that device of his. He is a very eclectic Music Man, Ricky Renteria. I never understood why Frank says A number 1 twice in that song. It's like he ran out of lyrics.
It's a shame you waited this long. Could have asked him.
Yeah, didn't get the chance.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing it up, though. Ricky Renteria, who is always the DJ. Music always emanating from his office. First base, flat hop. Davidson plays it well for out number 1.
That one just missed the bag, it appeared, and Matt stayed right with it. It was right down the line, so he was expecting that Hicks would pull the ball, and he did. It did hit the bag. That's why it looked like it almost hit the bag. So he did a nice job of staying with it, despite the fact that it did hit the bag and kind of flattened out.
That's why they say stay down on the ball.
It's one of the reasons.
One down for Andujar, who swings at the first pitch and nearly knocks himself over. Engel upright for out number 2. Join the White Sox in honoring Chicago area police and fire departments. Thursday, August 30th, Police and Fire Night. First 10,000 fans get a Yolmer Sanchez celebration-themed T-shirt presented by UL. For more than a century, UL's been committed to fire safety. Learn more at ul.com/fire. Yolmer Sanchez with those green specks sparkling on the T-shirt that you'll get very soon at Guaranteed Rate Field as Voit takes a strike. He should open his own optometrist shop. One more close look at a ball for Sanchez. And a 1-2-3 inning for Shields. To the 5th, no score. Hawk, the documentary on Hawk Harrelson, one of the most colorful and influential personalities in baseball. Thursday, September 13th at 7, only on NBC Sports Chicago. And there is our winner of the Abe Vigoda lookalike contest for tonight.
Looks like you might have some family in the truck. That's just me. I don't know. But
It's actually Keon Dolachahi, our producer's brother and father here at Yankee Stadium. What do I win?
tickets to the next tennis tournament.
Well, the one's going on right now here.
Yeah, but you get to go to the next one.
That doesn't seem like it's going to align with the schedule. Rarely do we play in the same place from year to year.
That's why I offered you tickets.
No, I understand the way you do business in that way. Kindness is overwhelming.
Hey, those are expensive tickets. Are you kidding?
Not the fantasy ones you're just making up. Those are free. Lance Lynn and James Shields tonight. Love.
And so far, yeah, nobody has blinked. Sox with 3 hits, Yankees with just 1.
Ball and 2 strikes on Sanchez. Off the fists. Torreyes throws him out. Here's your Sox math winner. Winner will get something more valuable than fake U.S. Open tickets. It's T. Dillon 90. 2 runs allowed by Rodon. 2 runs driven in by Anderson. 4 plus 19 Polka home runs. 23 minus 5 is Sanchez's jersey number. 18 is your winner tonight. Congratulations to Tom. You'll win a prize from the road. Maybe an oatmeal raisin cookie from the food room in the back.
A good food room it is, by the way.
It could be our in-booth cameraman Jimmy we could send to you.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Foul ball left side from Delmonico. We have a very cohesive unit
Especially
here.
if we
You
could
can
do
tell.
it before tomorrow night's game.
There
I mean,
he is.
that guy.
There's
right
Jimmy
there.
and Brian and Steve.
Jimmy and I have done games together since 1982.
That's amazing.
That's how old he is. I was 12 at the time. But this is an old guy.
I don't know if you heard the laugh in the background. It sounded like we were filmed in front of a live studio audience. One and one on Nicky. And he takes up and out. 2 balls and a strike. '76 pitches tonight for Lance Lynn. Couple of errors by his defense. 3 hits allowed, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. That one's cracked into left field. Nicky a 1-out single.
Well, here's something that's unbelievable, and it's even more unbelievable for a guy that throws close to 90% fastballs. Sox have never hit a home run off Lance Lynn. It covers 42 innings. That's pretty amazing when you consider that when he came to our ballpark, it's a hitter's park. You don't have to get a whole lot on it to hit it out. But yet, they have been unable to do it despite the fact that there's really very little deception as far as changing speeds, changing pitches. He throws basically the same pitch, makes it move a couple different ways, but it's the same pitch.
When you hear hitters talk about hitting, they say go up there looking for the fastball. Go up trying to find your fastball, finding the good pitch to hit. Nobody says go up there looking for the splitter. And this guy throws 90% fastballs.
Yep.
You don't even have to look for it. You're going to get one, and the Sox have yet to homer.
I was going
off
to say
it.
you're going to get a few. It's not just one. You're going to get them consistently.
Third base side and past Andujar. Nicky racing to third. Gardner bobbles it. Nicky's coming home, and the Sox take the lead.
I don't think that Nick Capra is going to take a gamble and try to score Nicky Delmonico if the ball is handled cleanly in left field. Gardner had a problem with it. And Nick, who has been a very aggressive third base coach, took a look and realized that with this bobble at the end, there was no way they were going to get Nicky. And it happened right here. Tried to one-hand it, couldn't get it done, and he scores without a play. He gets the wave and keeps on going.
I bet you he gets an RBI because he didn't stop.
I'll give him one. Would be his 34th if in fact it is. But whether it is or whether it is not, it is 1-0. And the Yankees have had a great deal of difficulty securing the baseball in this series. And it's been a game and a half old.
It's 5 errors now, not including that play. 5 errors in not 14 defensive innings. Lob to left. Gardner is underneath for round number 2. Well, for a team that was playing scorching baseball coming in, and yes, it was Baltimore, and yes, the Orioles have struggled, but so have the Sox this year, and the Sox, frankly, have taken it to the Yankees in the first game and a half.
Well, there's no doubt they play much better defense. If you play better defense, normally you get better pitching. And that has been the case so far. Again, it's just halfway through a 3-game series. And the Yankees are a very good team. They're going to be a much better team when they get healthy, but they're still a very good team.
But when you compare this series to the one we saw at Guaranteed Rate Field just a couple of weeks ago, when it seemed like the Yankees were just waiting to push the plunger in 2 of those games to set fire to the game, it's been a different looking series. Good news for Aaron Boone is he resides in a city that's certainly not prone to overreaction.
No, they would never do that.
Calm and centered. It's 1-1 to Matt, who doubled back in the second and was eventually left at third. '83 pitches for Lance Lynn. Former Ole Miss Rebel Lance Lynn against the high school draftee Davidson. Now 2-2 to Matt, who was committed to USC. Chad Kruder at the time, the former catcher, was the head coach there, but Matt decided to take the money and run, come into pro ball, and now at age 27, nearly a decade into his career, Two balls, 2 strikes. Lynn to Davidson. On the ground at third. And Duhar smothers it. And with a soiled jersey, throws out Davidson. Avi drives in a run. 1-0 Sox with the lead. And we talk to Chuck Garfien after this. Fish.
It was a classic. Didn't last that long, so it's a small box.
Yeah, it's a really tiny box set.
It's good on Barney Miller, though.
Gleyber Torres, Greg Bird, Austin Romine to bat here in the 5th. And a first pitch ball for Torres, who lined out to third his first time. Yeah, the Sox have been playing much better baseball. 2 games over 500 since the All-Star break. And I know third place isn't exactly America's favorite consolation prize, but the Sox are closing hard on the Tigers right now. Just a game back starting play tonight. Detroit's in Kansas City this evening. Off speed for a strike on the corner, 1-2.
That's a good straight change. Locked up Torres. And he got the call from Pat Hober.
James does a very nice job of getting young hitters to do what he wants them to do.
Well, he's not going to show him the same speed twice. That's been the strong point for him. Looked like he just missed him there, and I mean just barely missed him.
Almost got him twice with that curveball.
Yeah, this is one. If you put him on to start off the inning, you're probably going to be in trouble. Almost got him in the hand and then almost in the thigh.
2-2. Grounded foul, third base side. James looked like he got a little bit frustrated in that start at Detroit. The Tigers were pretty aggressive with him and took a couple out of the ballpark, and then the final one looked like he was a little angry with himself. As that's clipped foul, still 2-2. Sox got a run here at the top of the 5th inning on an Avi Garcia RBI double. Second full count for Torres. There's Greg Bird, who flied out to right. He's 0 for his last 18 as he stands there. Another foul ball from Torres.
That looked like a cutter. Try to shave off the outside part of the plate. But Gleyber was able to stay alive.
Little delay, 3-2, and it's up and in, ball 4. Shields tried to fiddle with the timing of Torres, and he walks him. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox, presented by Guaranteed Rate, your trusted teammate throughout the mortgage process. Experience the difference today at rate.com. One on, nobody out, Greg Bird. First one, a strike on Bird from James Shields, making his 400th start of his career this evening.
Bird had a good at bat last time in the 2nd inning. And he hasn't had a whole lot of good at bats recently.
James Shields, 6 or more innings in 22 starts this year. That's 3rd most in the American League. Trying to get the Sox there again tonight. He's allowed only 1 hit through 4+. Command wavering some for Shields.
Had to drop a couple of off-speed breaking balls over the outside corner. Missed with them both.
Throw to first. James has a very strong pickoff move, sometimes to third as well.
Torres 5 out of 7 in stolen bases, so he doesn't run often, but he runs pretty well when he does.
Two one. Lofted foul left side, 2-2 on Bird.
Had him well out in front of a straight change and cued it off the end of the bat.
Well, here's a guy who, when he makes contact, it generally has a tendency to cause trouble for your inning. He's got 50 hits this year, and 25 of them have gone for extra bases. You may remember 3 years ago, he shows up in New York, hits 11 home runs in 46 games, then missed all of the following season. Last year, 48 games as well, 9 home runs, 31 homers in 167 total games for the Yankees.
Pretty good.
James Shields to Greg Bird. To first, Davidson's right there for a double play. Sometimes fortune smiles upon you.
Very difficult play for the base runner, because Torres, if he takes one step, it's going to be a double play. Now, that was his secondary lead, so with the secondary lead, he was so far off the bag that he had zero chance of getting back. Sometimes you just hung out to dry, and that was one of those times.
Literally zero you can do.
Nope, there's nothing you can do.
So 2 out, Romine the batter. Shields misses a little bit low, ball 1. Only hit for the Yankees in this game is Romine's. He wanted to swing. Two balls, no strikes. That was very close. Now 3-0. And James Shields has a history with this Yankees team. In fact, the guy that he's faced most in his career is Derek Jeter. Nearly 100 at bats for Jeter against Shields. As that fades inside for ball 4, second walk of the inning for the Yankees. And Torres will bat. Xfinity X1 customers say, show me the Chicago White Sox. Into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1.
Got to watch Torres early in the count, especially after striking out last time in the 3rd inning. He probably is going to be looking for something very early to swing at. The outfield not overly deep. They're swung around a couple of steps to the right of center. The huge gap is in left center.
There's a strike, nicely planted on the outside corner. Oh, 1. Ball and a strike. So Shields in his career faced Derek Jeter 96 times. Robinson Cano 93 times, Nick Markakis 80. Those are the top 3 batters Shields has faced over the course of these 400 career starts now.
Well, being in the American League East, a good, or the majority of his career, he's going to face those guys who inhabited the East a whole lot of times. Markakis, of course, was a star with Baltimore long before he got to Atlanta.
What a year for Markakis in Atlanta, and they're 16 over, 73 and 57.
They got a very good young team, and they got a number of young players on the horizon ready to come up. Been just a wonderful year for the Atlanta Braves this year.
Rallying around Brian Snitker, who for so long was a manager or coach in their farm system. 2-2. Breaking ball swatted to left. This is hooking foul. Aaron Judge in his off time applauding people who catch foul balls. Two and two on Torreyes. 2 walks in the inning, a line out double play from Bird. Sox protecting a 1-0 lead. 2-2. Foul of third yet again. Shields trying to figure out how to wipe away the 25-year-old Torreyes. 2-2 on the ground left side. Anderson collects, and there's out number 3. James Shields, we told you, he faced Derek Jeter more times than anyone in his career. Inextricably tied to the former PA announcer here, Bob Shepard. Number 2, Derek Jeter. Ninth, 1:10 p.m. First 15,000 fans get a free White Sox water bottle presented by the Village of Bedford Park. Bring your business home to Bedford Park and win big. Get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. Well pitched game so far, 1-0. The Sox with the lead, and it's Narvaez, Anderson, and Moncada coming up to face the right-hander Lance Lynn. Omar 1 for 2 as he takes a first pitch ball at 88 outside from Lynn. whipped foul left side by Narvaez against Lynn.
And the pen up and going. It's Jonathan Holder. Lynn knocking at the door on 90 pitches. Got 2 more of those before he gets to 90.
Has anyone ever been bred more as a middle reliever than a guy with the name Holder? At least he wasn't an offensive lineman.
Well, that's probably good.
I always enjoyed David Risky as a closer. Makes you a little tense. 1-2. Breaking ball. In the air, left-hand side. Gardner fading back, and he makes the catch. Tracked well by Brett Gardner into the left field corner. As since we're in New York, Steve's got a little extra money to spend. We're going to go to the swap meet and see what sort of New York prices we have. The swap keeper, Chris Kamka, says no coupons to us. I get to pick first, I think, right?
Sure.
So the guy on the left. ERA is better. FIP is better. ERA plus is worse. But I'm going to take the guy on the left.
You are?
Uh-huh.
Well, let's hope it's a trap because those numbers look considerably better.
Your ERA plus is better.
I wonder if one is Ron Guidry.
You think it might be Guidry, huh?
I don't know. Looks like the type of numbers he might have put up.
You memorized his ERA plus?
Absolutely. And it was usually pretty good, as was his regular ERA. I'm not sure what it's plus, but well, it's pretty good.
The plus takes park factors into account, an era.
I see.
So you can more easily measure guys across different generations. When a stat has plus in it, that's generally.
That's it?
Yeah, what you're doing with it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It's useful. Average is 100, and then every point above average is a % better than the average. There you go. Left field and Gardner. And there's out number 2. All right, what's in the bag? Let's find out. I've got the guy on the left, you've got the guy on the right. Whoosh.
Do I still have the guy on the right?
You do.
Okay.
Babe Ruth and Corey Kluber. How about that?
Well, I'll tell you what, right now, Kluber can outpitch him, so I'm pretty happy with my pick.
He's one of the best players of all time I just got.
Yeah, but he's been gone for a while. Not going to help you much.
That's why it's ERA plus.
Oh,
it's across generations.
Plus, if you're gone, then you get picked.
I really wish that would have been the final out of the inning. That's amazing. I'd like to see Kluber grab a bat.
Well, everybody at that point knew that Babe Ruth was a superlative pitcher. Not just a pitcher, but I mean a superlative pitcher.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, he had the all-time scoreless streak of innings pitched in the World Series. So Kluber only 3 for 25 in his career as a hitter. Probably is not going to be Babe Ruth anytime soon. But
what a value I got. I got a two-way player. You
Yes, but I got one who can play. That's the difference, I believe.
I guess we're not going to talk about history anymore on our telecast.
Well, we can, as long as you pick the guy who is departed, dearly departed.
That is called a strike on Moncada, 1-2. Would have loved to see Babe Ruth play, though.
Yeah, I mean, when you consider that he would personally hit more home runs than most teams in the league, you realize how much better than everybody he really was in his era.
Into center field on 2 strikes. Moncada with a single to keep the inning alive.
Let's take another look. This is a fastball away, and Yohan goes and gets it. Lynn felt that one had a chance of being hit right back at him. Fortunately for him, it was hit over his head.
Think about running here.
That's what I would do. I would send them early in the count, not necessarily the first pitch, but somewhere in the first 2.
Not this time. Ball 1.
It's not going to be the easiest combination to run against, only because Lynn is not all that slow to the plate.
Ball and a strike. Moncada at first draws a throw this time.
Pitch number 100 on the way. If you're looking for a good pitch to run, this is probably it. Nick Capra has already given his signs.
Throw comes to first, and Yuan is back. "100 pitches for Lance Lynn, the third the most taxing. Two balls and two strikes on Engel, who's 0 for 2 tonight. 3 for 4 yesterday for Adam. And Larry Rothschild watching closely. Two and two. Lone run in the game came across in the 5th inning as Javi Garcia doubled down the left field line, scoring Nicky Delmonico. A bobble in left from Gardner helped as Ricky Renteria's team has the lead. To third and past. Yoan slows down. Engel runs it by Andujar, and Adams 1 for 3. You see what Adam just said there? He said he throws a
four-seamer right down the middle, man.
He's so mad at himself from earlier in the at-bat.
And he took that one through the left side. And Duhart dives over the top of it. And that's going to be it for Lance Lynn, who threw a whale of a ball game tonight, but he didn't throw as well as James Shields.
Adam Engel, the perfect response for a game that'll drive you crazy. Adams over at first, like four-seam right down the middle. He's on now, 1-0 Sox.
It's about time. And Jonathan Holder comes in the ball game. He inherits a couple base runners at first and second on for the 49th time, all in relief. 1-3, ERA just over 3, so he's been pretty good with 53 strikeouts and 53 2/3. Left-handers, right-handers, doesn't matter. They're both hitting .206, which is a great number.
5 holds as a family heirloom. Yolmer against Holder with 2 on and 2 out in the 6th. Strike 1. Sanchez 1 for 3. He reached on an error in the first, grounded out in the 5th, and singled to left in the 3rd. Off the plate. So Lance Lynn, 5 innings and 2/3, 7 hits. He walked 1 and struck out 5, but again the Sox have minimized the strikeouts 3rd time through the order, as they did late in the game yesterday. Sanchez center field. Moncada around 3rd. Throw coming into 3rd, and there's nobody at second base. Yolmer into the vacated bag to applause and Mickey Mouse ears, and a 2-0 lead.
That's just a heads-up base running play by Yolmer when he realized that there was just nobody there. He took off after the play could not be made at 3rd. The good speed of Adam Engel saw to it that that was a non-factor.
Sox are doing all the small things in this series.
And Torreyes, for some reason, decided to head toward first base. I'm not sure exactly why, but nobody was out there covering second, and Yolmer took advantage of it.
Foul ball from Nicky. Here's one more look at that play.
See Torreyes going back toward first base. I don't think Yolmer's going to go back to first base on a play like that anyway. Didn't make a great deal of sense, but that's where he took off to, leaving a vacated second.
Well, you know, sometimes secondaries will play part man and part zone.
Yes, I guess that was it.
Nicky to left field. Gardner can't get there. 1 in. Here comes Sanchez. 4-0 Sox. It's raining boos in New York.
Nicky with 22 driven in. And this one a little looper to left field. Gardner couldn't get to it. And with good speed on the bases, the Sox extend their lead. Sox doing just about everything right. On the other side of the equation, the Yankees not so much.
And the locals are rather dyspeptic.
They're not happy. If that's what that means.
It does. If you wanted to. Strike 1 to Avi.
This inning authored with 2 outs, nobody on, starting with the Moncada base hit. 4 singles in a row. Got Aaron Boone and his Yankees a bit on their heels.
This is where people here in New York log on to the web and buy domain names like fireaaronboone.com and giveboonetheaxe.org. It's a non-profit.
Well, the one thing about Aaron, he's a very good baseball man, a smart guy, and he knew exactly what he was getting into when he took this job.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in the ups and downs of this city. He gets it. His family's been around baseball for a long, long time.
But I assume that when offered this job, which is a wonderful job, it would be very difficult to ever think about turning it down.
You'd imagine so.
Yeah. Too good a job.
0-2. in the dirt. Yeah, when you're in charge of one of the most powerful baseball teams out there, you can live with the headline of Howl at the Boone or whatever it might be coming tomorrow if they lose a second straight. One and two. Nicky over at first, still 2 out. Jonathan Holder has allowed one of these runs, back-to-back hits against him. Lance Lynn coughs up 3 of the 4 runs tonight, so his line is through. One, two. Center field. Hicks is there for out number 3, but with 2 out and nobody on, it was then don't blink. Moncada. Angle. Sanchi. Nicky. 4-zip. Four-zip Sox over New York as the Chicago White Sox are playing their best baseball of the season. 10 of the last 13 in the win column and trying to get a series win here in New York behind James Shields. Gardner takes a strike. He tried to lower his strike zone a little bit by squatting down as the pitch came.
That didn't work.
Yeah.
Third time through the order, James has been unbelievably good, giving up just 1 hit, that to Romine in the 3rd.
Gardner jabs a bunt third base side and rolling foul. Brett Gardner will take a pitch with the best of them. We've seen him do it early in this at bat there. He lays down the bunt as a surprise for the Sox defense. And when you take a look at what's actually a good swing percentage in Major League Baseball, the second lowest in Major League Baseball is Brett Gardner at 35% swings. Tim Anderson, this is all qualifiers, so not everybody with an at bat, but if you were to qualify for the batting title, you're on this list. Javi Baez swings the most. Moncada actually swings the least of qualified batters.
Well, it's not unusual to see both Mauer and Gardner there because they're both leadoff hitters, and that's what you want out of your leadoff hitter. You want him to see a lot of pitches. You want him to have as many in his 4 at-bats as he possibly can. And if you can get over 20 pitches in 4 at-bats, you're doing your job as a leadoff hitter.
And that's why when you're scanning for who your leadoff guy might be, you have a Joe Mauer who used to be somebody you'd put in the 3 or 4 spot, and you say, well, okay, who do we have on the team that fits that bill? And it ends up being a chicken or the egg phenomenon.
Well, gone are the days when you were looking for that 400 on base percentage guy. That's not the case anymore. More times than not now, they're taking a really good hitter, putting him in the 1 spot, and getting him another at bat on a daily basis. A lot of managers have taken to loading the top part of their lineup with their best hitters. Again, you get them 1 more at bat in the course of a game than if you hit, let's say, in the 6th spot, which is a run production spot, but you're liable to lose out on 1 at bat per game.
The thinking is once you get into the game, that 1 through 9 gets muddied up anyway. It's just sequential without numbers next to it, so you'd rather have the best hitters get the most at bats. 1-2. Gardner checks it up. 2-2.
Last time up, he threw one of those breaking balls down and in. Gardner swung over the top, and he was a strikeout victim.
Most recent strikeout for Shields. He's got 3 compared to 3 walks and just 1 hit allowed against a tough Yankee lineup, even without the players they're missing, like Judge and Sanchez. Gardner to right field. Avi has to play it back at the wall, and Gardner's on his way to 3rd. Sox have no play on him. Gardner a leadoff triple in the 6th.
This one a pretty good at bat by Brett Gardner. He got what appeared to be either a fastball, could have been a change, might have been a change. It was drifting out over the middle of the plate, took it all the way to the wall, and ran it all the way into a triple.
So this crowd, which was rather dismayed in the top of the 6th, has found some juice for Giancarlo Stanton. First pitch hunting, he pops it up. Moncada for round number 1. Boy, Stanton's really looked out of sorts this series.
Just not swinging it very well. Hit the ball hard the first time up, then a ground out and a pop up. Didn't have the ball out of the infield last night in 4 at bats, including a couple of strikeouts. So things aren't going very well for one of the premier hitters on this team. It's a sidearm high fastball, and it just beats him. A little frustration on that as he got one down the middle and popped it straight up.
You'd imagine that when he hits number 300, there's a waterfall of hits coming behind that.
I would say as soon as the pressure's off, he's going to start swinging it like we know he can swing it.
Check swing. No go.
Mark Carlson on the appeal.
You know what's amazing about the strength of Stanton is he hits that pop-up halfway to Mars, and it comes off his bat at nearly 80 miles an hour anyway. That's a strong dude right there. James Shields could be a participant in the U.S. Open. His grunting is Grand Slam tennis grunting.
There are very few folks as noisy as professional tennis players.
Very true. James is.
He's one of those
James
guys.
is getting there.
Yeah.
Gardner at 3rd, 1 out. You heard it. I mean, he says he's doing it to keep his muscles engaged and to keep his breathing pattern. That's the idea behind the grunting, like boxers do. when they make sounds as they punch.
Yeah, I was going to say they all
Yeah.
have a different sound when they punch. A lot of them make sounds when they get punched.
That is very true. Pop up, third base side. Sanchez for round number 2. They are not booning.
You sure they're not booning?
No, I'm real sure of that. MLB.tv is now available at a lower price for $49.99. Watch every Auto Market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this special offer.
When I first got to Baltimore, I was the first free agent they ever acquired.
Okay.
And things were not going very well. And we wound up winning 102 games. I was below 500 at the All-Star break. And I was thinking of changing my name to Moose because I figured that would be the only way where I could just say, I'm viewing this as a positive thing. They're all yelling out Moose. But anyway, things turned around for me the second half, and the boos went away.
Well, we
Didn't
heard
have to
it.
change my name.
We heard it at Comerica Park. You could have been Lou Stone, like Lou Whitaker.
That's it, Lou. That's right. They love him there.
And Duhart kills this ball. 4-2.
That one an absolute no-doubter. That's 22 home runs for the youngster. He's driven in 74. And what a talent he is. It'll take him a while to adjust to third base, but he doesn't have to adjust to swinging that bat because he can really swing it, and he is astonishingly strong. Fourth home run replay. James saw that sidearm fastball drift back over on the inside part of the plate, and Andujar hit it a mile.
You can't hit it more squarely than he just did.
Now, for the Yankee psyche, that turned out to be a really big hit. Not that it scored 2, that part of it's good, cut the lead in half, but the fact is they had a triple by Gardner to lead off the inning. We're on the verge of coming away with nothing this inning.
And look, last night they get a leadoff triple from Torreyes in the third and don't score.
And they were pretty close to heading to the same spot. James now giving up 27 home runs. Does not diminish the job he's done here tonight because he has been wonderful.
Ball and a strike. And that breaking ball gets strike 2. Luke Voigt, James Shields. 1-2. Another breaking ball. This one wasn't close to the plate at 68 miles an hour. That'll get a quizzical look from a batter or two.
Voigt with very good power, and a lot of it is to right and right center field. We saw a little of it last night. Didn't have anything to show for it except for a base hit, and he pulled that. But he hit the ball pretty hard the opposite way. You don't have to hit it all that hard to get it out here in right and right center field.
Swatted to left. Two-out single for Voigt. Gleyber Torres now the tying run. Kurt Hassler.
And Ricky giving that gum a pretty good workout.
Kurt Hassler, Sox bullpen coach, said to me today, he goes, "You been called a bum yet?" I said, "No." He says, "We have." They're very close to the fans over there in the left field bullpen. As Don Cooper comes out to buy some time.
Jace Fry loosening in the pen. It's unusual for him in what he's been asked to do recently to come in this early, but he hasn't had a lot of work lately, so he's one of the fresher arms down there. Might as well bring him in a key situation and look for, if not the ideal save, maybe a save situation in a situation that comes up earlier in the ballgame.
They call them high leverage situations in baseball circles, but it's basically if they got their best guy coming up, we want one of our best guys facing him no matter what the inning number says. So Torres against Shields. That's ball one. Xavier Cedeno has pitched quite a bit recently, so the Sox used Cedeno last night. Fry, the first lefty, up tonight in a 4-2 game. Native New Yorker Don Cooper. Dangerous pitch to Torres. Voit at first, 2-0. That's ball three.
Well, with Bird doing what he's doing, I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Boone decided to turn Torres loose.
Bird 0 for his last 19 standing on deck. There's Voit at first. 3-0 to Gleyber Torres. That's ball four. It was not close. 2 on, 2 out. The lefty Bird coming up.
And I would think that if Jace Fry is ready, and that's what Don Cooper is checking on, if he's ready, he's coming in the ball game to face Bird, which might.
That was the message. And there goes Ricky Renteria. So
might mean that there's a pinch hitter coming in.
Very well could be. They've got Higashioka, Robinson, and Walker on the bench. We'll see how the Yankees play it. Jace Fry is on his way in. Yankees have 2 on and 2 out in a 4-2 game in the 6th. Taking view of Guaranteed Rate Field from the Huntington Bank Stadium Club. Memberships are available to season ticket holders and also are perfect for non-game day events, including weddings and corporate parties. For more info, 312-674-1000.
Now for our Lakeside Bank call to the pen, it is Jace Fry. He comes in a jam. He's got Yankees at first and second. Got Voit at second, Torres at first, and he's on for the 48th time. ERA just below 4, and he's facing Greg Bird, who stays in the game. James looking for just one thin out.
First pitch, breaking ball, a strike. Jace Fry does that quite a bit.
He gets a lot of high strikes. At first glance, you think it's a hanger, but the ball doesn't hang. It doesn't roll. It breaks sharply. It just breaks up, breaks high.
Bird rockets it to right field. Avi is there. That was a dagger, but it ends the inning. 2 in for the Yankees. Sox lead by 2.
One-on-one with rookie phenom Michael Kopech. Hear him talk about his major league debut and his emotional moment with his dad after the game. Visit NBCSportsChicago.com/podcast to subscribe today. The newly shorn Michael Kopech.
Yeah, the locks are gone.
They are gone.
The hay has left the barn.
Got to do that on occasion.
Better in the heat. First pitch, strike to Daniel Palka, who's 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout and a flyout.
So James Shields went 5 2/3. The identical number that Lance Lynn put in, only he gave up just 2 runs on 4 hits, walked 4, fan 3.
James wishing he would have gone 6. Sox have the lead when he leaves. And that's strike 3, climbing with a fastball. Palka goes down. 1 out here in the 7th inning. Let's quiz Steve on his own career, shall we? It's Sticks and Stone. In what ballpark did your first win in New York come? I got the Polo Grounds.
I was going to say Ebbets Field. No, it's one of those. Polo Grounds. Oh, there is Ebbets Field. Let's see. Well, it wasn't the bottom 2, so it was one of
you
the.
You sure?
What were the I'd have to say B, only because I think he only won 1 game here, and that was in, might have been 1980. Of course, that might have been the first game I won in New York, but I'll take Shea Stadium just in case.
Shea Stadium is your answer as this ball comes down into the glove for round number 2.
That's my answer. I'm sticking with it.
All right.
Maybe.
We'll see later on if it is Shea Stadium. Do you like pitching here in New York?
Not quite that much, no.
Thanks for pretending to think it over.
Well, first of all, the Yankees were usually pretty good. But that wasn't any day at the beach coming here to face them. And
well, I figured just based on your personality, you like the hustle and bustle of the big city. You like a lot of people in small places. That's something
I do. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like it in movies.
Uh-huh. I figure you
don't
would
like it so much in real life.
You would do well on the subway and rush hour, 5 o'clock, just arm to arm with people, holding onto the handles above the hang straps.
I used to always take the subway back.
Did you really?
Yeah, both here and Philadelphia.
Huh.
Yeah.
Odds makers took a beating on that one.
True.
On the ground, second base, Torreyes. Round number 3. Bottom 7 coming up. Find out the stunning conclusion to Sticks and Stone after this.
On the NBC Sports app.
Steve's been working on his cover of Petula Clark's Don't Sleep in the Subway during the break.
I was a big subway guy.
I love transit here. I love the metro in DC. I'm all for like memorizing the maps.
I think it's terrific, but let's get back to the Sticks and Stone answer, because this has me on the edge of my seat.
It's not Who Shot JR, but it's close. The cliffhanger, it is Shea Stadium.
I figured I had a good shot at this because 5 of my first 6 years in the major leagues were in the National League. And I knew I only won 1 game in the American League. So it just made sense that it was Shea Stadium, but for the life of me, I cannot remember.
You can't?
Nope.
Well, I'm sure you had a great game. Let's go back into White Sox history, shall we? Do you remember this?
I do.
Frank Thomas, who evidently hits all of his home runs in the Metrodome, according to our coverage.
Every one of them.
First career major league home run for the not as big Hurt at the time.
He was not all that big then. He was still very strong, however.
One of the sweetest swings you will ever see, Frank Thomas. The first of so many home runs, 521. You want the good news or the bad news for Yankee fans?
Always the bad news first for Yankee fans.
Yeah, the score. That's your bad news
Well,
for Yankee fans.
Yeah. Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Yeah. You're welcome.
What's the good
Thought
news?
I've been upgraded. Oh, great. Where did that come from? We have a band and a live studio audience.
We travel with a snare drum.
Unbelievable. The good news for Yankee fans is not that. Sanchez at third is out number one. Gary Sanchez has homered in AAA tonight in his rehab assignment. Aaron Boone may get him back sooner rather than later. That would affect Romine and Higashioka at least for a couple of days, with the rosters expanding over the weekend. That's outside, ball one.
Best case scenario for the Yankees. Now this is what they've looked ahead at.
Yep.
Is having both of those guys, Gregorius and Sanchez, back for the Oakland series when they travel to Oakland, and it's a tough road trip. They go to Oakland for 3, day off. They go to Seattle for 3, and then no day off. They play Minnesota for 3 in Minnesota. They got a 9-game road trip, 9 games, 10 days. That is a fairly tough one. But they do, and they know they've got 6 left with Boston, including the final 3 of the season in Fenway Park.
Well, depending on how they play the next couple of weeks, they might be either challenging the Red Sox or trying to fend somebody off for a wild card. I mean, Seattle is well back, but if you start to sink, we've seen, like Oakland chasing down Houston, that deficit can close very quickly. Two. He struck him out. Jace Fry cuts down to Reyes. And let's go around Major League Baseball. We're talking about the American League West. Houston went down early to Oakland at home, but that didn't last very long. 11 unanswered runs last night for the Astros against the A's. It just wouldn't stop, and bad news today for Oakland as well, pitching wise.
Yeah, Sean Manaea is hurt. And when your number 1, and he is their number 1, is hurt, you've got some problems. And it's in the shoulder area, the rotator cuff area. It's tendonitis. You never know how that's going to play out. But you do know they are winning their game tonight against Houston and Charlie Morton. They're winning 3-1 that game at the end of 4 innings. This is a game that Oakland doesn't have to have, but it's a game that they would dearly love to have, because things have not gone all that well recently. They find themselves 2.5 games back, 3 back in the loss column heading into tonight. If they don't win this one, you drop 4 back in the loss column. Sure, there's plenty of time. It's just not a good thing chasing a club that has Altuve back.
That's right. And if you lose tonight, then tomorrow you really have to have. It's your last game between the two this year. They've just played a couple of series consolidated now. You'd really love to win both if you're Oakland.
And bear in mind that the team that's ahead, they don't want to play the team that's in second place again if they have a choice. It's the team that's behind that needs those head-to-head games to catch up. And Oakland, a good team, but they get their work cut out for them trying to catch Houston.
Yes, they do.
Especially with what the Astros have done since Altuve's been back. I mean, they scuffled without him.
Two and 1 to Gardner. That's a strike. Gardner didn't like it. It was a strike.
Well, this wasn't even close to low, so the only thing that made the call a little controversial was it came a little bit later from Pat Hoberg, but it absolutely had the whole plate. It wasn't even borderline low. There you see the number 4 showing up on PitchCast. Can't get too much better than that.
Three balls and 2 strikes. Yankees left fielder did not start last night. He tripled in the 6th tonight. And Gardner, like this one, has been tough to replace for the Yankees. Now 35 years old, under recruited, has turned himself into a tremendous major league player. 3-2 on the ground, left hand side. Anderson cleanly for the final out here in the 7th inning. 1-2-3 for Fry. Sox lead 4-2 to the 8th. Guaranteed rate. Eloy Jimenez 0 for 4 tonight, so we show you what he's done prior to that. 18 for his last 29 entering tonight. 6 runs, 621 average, 759 slugging.
Those are pretty decent numbers, all things considered.
Yeah, I don't think you considered enough things because your computer spat out the word decent.
Decent.
That little lighted box you have.
There it is. I see it.
Tim Anderson leads off here in the 8th. 4-2 Sox with the advantage, and there's a strike. Sox got a run in the 5th and 3 in the 6th. Those 3 in the 6th inning all came with 2 out. Moncada, Engel, Sanchez, Delmonico, 4 consecutive hits for the Sox.
Sox runs in last night's game all came the last 4 innings. They would love to add a run or 2 to this lead, make things a lot more comfortable for the bullpen, but right now it's just a pair.
Oh, 2 to Tim Anderson. Tuscaloosa native hits this ball to left field. Gardner for round number 1. Flash sale alert. Join us for the upcoming Boston and Detroit series August 30th through September 5th. Get a lower box ticket for just $30 and have your first snack or drink on us with $15 to spend in the park. Upper level tickets are also available. Get whitesox.com/flash sale on your computer for your tickets today. Get a root beer float, a little snack to go along with it. One of our favorite items at Guaranteed Rate Field. I know you enjoy the salads.
Root beer float has been a huge seller.
Yoan takes ball 1. Left field side, Gardner again. 2 down. Yankees in the home 8th. will bring up Stanton, Hicks, and Andujar. So if it's going to happen, it may happen in the 8th for the Yankees. Big inning for the Sox to get through coming up.
And the Sox bullpen up and going once again, so could very well be that it's time to go to the pen.
Jace Fry, first one to come in after Shields, has gone an inning and a third. Juan Minaya, who the Sox pulled before that final out last night to save him for a possible appearance tonight, getting loose. So that's why you go ahead and let Cedeno finish the game yesterday. You allow Minaya to be a possibility here tonight more readily.
And you hope he can give you that one solid inning as you try to wend your way through the meat of this Yankee order.
Left field, Gardner. Very busy. Must have been a Gardner that cared a lot. Bottom 8, 4-2. Sox with the lead. Chuck Garfien has an update after this. And the White Sox go.
Juan Minaya, fresh off a fine performance last night, coming on once again. Last night, an inning and 2/3, just one hit, one strikeout.
First one a strike to Giancarlo Stanton, who after a 21 consecutive on base streak, game wise, is 0 for his last 12. And there is Minaya.
And there are the numbers. On for the 39th time. His ERA at 3.62. It's been steadily decreasing.
He braced and took a strike. Minaya grooves it at 96. Ball and 2 strikes. Minaya to Stanton. On the ground and through the right side.
The shift was on. Nobody was home on the right side, and that fastball away was taken through the right side.
That was his best swing of the series, and it wasn't close.
No, he hit that ball very hard.
Tying run at the plate, Aaron Hicks. Got a career high in home runs this year, career high in extra base hits. A dangerous man in the 3 spot. Ball 1.
Somewhat surprising that Hicks, who is a switch hitter, has only grounded into 1 double play this year.
One-0, way upstairs. Ricky Renteria was hoping Manaea would duplicate what he did last night. 23 pitches yesterday after a couple of days off. Manaea's throw to first greeted warmly here in New York. Two and 0. Another pitch upstairs. It's 3-0, and Manaea may not be long for this game. Stanton at first. That's a called strike.
This one could have gone either way. It did have a small piece of the plate, and Hicks can't believe it, but it wasn't that bad a pitch.
Manaea 3-1. Hicks fouls it away. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Dylan Covey starts to get loose.
He's been the multi-inning guy for the Sox out of the bullpen since being relieved of his starting duties. 3-2. Hicks clubs it to right field. Avi is back at the wall. It's tied.
.22 home runs, 63 driven in. 2 two-run homers have tied it. That's how the Yankees do things. They hit the ball out of the ballpark. When they're doing that, they're awfully good. A Ford home run replay, and this game is a brand new game. Tied at 4.
Well, Manaea had lived up and out of the zone. That one was up and in the zone, and Hicks walloped it to deadlock this game at 4. Dylan Covey summoned in a brand new look here in the 8th.
clean. It's on for the 20th time. 4-11 ERA at 5.77. And now let's take a look at StatCast AI, powered by AWS. Andujar gets every bit of this sidearm fastball, rides it out of the park, his 22nd home run of the year, 105.9 miles per hour, a line drive at 25-degree launch angle, and 421 feet, and it cut the lead in half at the time.
Dylan Covey throws ball one, and Dylan's memories of this ballpark are not tremendous. From April the 19th of last year, it was his second start. He went 5 innings and gave up 4 Yankee home runs. They were to Chase Headley, Starlin Castro, Aaron Hicks, and Aaron Judge. 2-0 for Andujar. On the ground, Anderson at shortstop throws him out to settle down this bubbling crowd. Well, the AL East has taken a hairpin over the last 15 minutes. The Yankees have tied the game here, and the Marlins have scored 5 in the 8th against the Red Sox to take a 6-4 lead.
Boston, who as one of their strengths, it's the back end of the bullpen tonight. The ship is taking on some water.
That was Matt Barnes giving up 4 earned runs in a third of an inning. Catcher JT Realmuto with a home run for the Marlins.
Pretty good player. A little bit surprised they didn't move him for a boatload of talent, but apparently the asking price was phenomenal.
Had to have been. Yeah. Somebody asked.
Oh, a few teams. More than one team asked. That's a very talented young man.
Ball and a strike on Voit, who's 1 for 3 tonight. And he let her rip. 94 on the corner, 1-2. Well, Omar wanted it down. It was on a changeup for strike 3, 2 gone.
That was a good pitch from Dylan. He took something off. He had Voit way out in front of it.
Here's Gleyber Torres, who's walked 4 times in this series. He's 1 for 3 with a home run, 4 walks, and a strikeout. Well, Dylan Covey's specialty this year, for the most part, has been the first time opponents see him.
That and throwing ground balls.
Through the right side, tying run at first in Gleyber Torres.
Talk about the fact that he doesn't run often, just 5 stolen bases. He's been caught only twice.
Greg Bird 0 for his last 20, but again, the power ability makes you worry about him even in a slump scenario.
Hit the ball well tonight.
Yeah.
Nothing to show for it, but well.
Yeah, fly out to right, line out to right, line out, double play. And that's high of first. Torres on his way to second at the very least.
That is not a well thought out particular play, because Torres just doesn't run that often. You run the risk of putting him in a scoring position, which is where he is. He wasn't off the bag that far. It goes E1, and now he is in scoring position. So the question is here, with a guy swinging the bat well, even though he's in the throes of a terrible slump, he's left-handed against a right-handed pitcher, and you got first base open. Let's see what they elect to do.
Ball 1, a fastball at 95. Romine would be next. Although you do have Walker on the bench, the switch hitter, who is more dangerous left-handed. So the go-ahead run at second base for the Yankees with 2 out in the 8th. Called a strike.
Berg thought it was high. Matt Holberg thought it was good enough.
Four all 8th inning on a 2-run homer for Hicks. Inside. Two veteran pitchers have left it to the bullpens tonight, Shields and Lynn. It's a 4-all tie. 2-1 to Bird. It's down a little bit or inside. 3-1. Dylan Covey to Greg Bird. Torres at second. In the air, left-hand side. Anderson hangs on as Nicky slide tackles him. And you hope Nicky's okay out there in left. He was charging hard. Anderson makes the catch, and the inning comes to an end. The Sox crash into out number 3 here in the 8th.
Throwing right-hander with just occasional control issues. 94 strikeouts in 53 2/3. He's walked 20. ERA of 2.18. He's recorded at least 1 strikeout in 33 consecutive appearances. That is an AL record.
Opponents this year are 11 for 105 against his breaking ball. That's a 105 batting average. So look for the fastball. Oh, by the way, it's 98.
Oh yeah, that's big fastball. Always has one. But in the minor leagues, control was a huge issue for him. Once he harnessed that, he became a very productive member of the pen. That's
Slider.
that slider.
Yep, strike 3, 1 gone. When I was in AAA in Syracuse, Betances was in AAA in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, and there were times where he would start a game And you'd look at your watch after 2 innings, it'd be an hour and a half into the game because he just wasn't throwing strikes. I mean, it looked like there was a time that it looked like he was never going to know how to throw strikes, and you could always see the stuff was there. He's harnessed it beautifully, and he's scary now. As Nicky goes after the first pitch and serves it to right for round number 2, and an oncoming Stanton.
Remember talking with Joe Girardi, who managed his team for a long time, and I asked him about his minor leagues, and I said, is there one guy that we should look forward to getting here? And he said, we got a guy in the minor leagues by the name of Dylan Betances that if he ever harnesses his control, he's going to be unbelievable. And as it turned out, unbelievable out of the bullpen, and he's been pretty close to unbelievable these days.
It was easy for Joe to be optimistic. He didn't have to sit through a 5-hour day game on a Sunday in Scranton, Pennsylvania. 2 down for ball 1 to Avi. RBI double for Avi back in the 5th. 4-4 tie. Now, Avi's hit a couple of big homers this year, especially away from home, and all it takes is one swing. Our BP home run leaders, Matt Davidson 15 on the road, then Abreu, Garcia, and Palka with 11. Nothing in the zone so far, 1 and 2.
Avi's not going to hit a home run in that slider. Unless he really hangs it. You'd love to see him get a little confidence and try to throw a fastball by him. But no, it's another slider, says Romine.
1 and 2. That one hung around and was outside. 2 and 2.
This one not one of his better ones. Romine tries to drag it back in the zone, but Pat Hoberg would have none of it.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Betances to Garcia, and he clipped the corner with a slider. He didn't want it there, but it got the job done. Bottom 9, tied at 4.
Of Aaron Hicks. That ties it at 4-4. And Hicks hit his 22nd home run. And that's where we stand heading into the bottom of the 9th inning. We got a new shortstop. Jose Rondon takes over at short. And hopefully Tim Anderson is okay.
He went over the top of Nicky, who slid in as they crashed together for the final out of that 8th inning. Dylan Covey's first pitch is a strike on Austin Romine. Yankees with 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 8th. We just showed you the Hicks game tire, and now Covey with a curveball gets strike 2. Tough time for Tim Anderson to get nicked up. Here's a look at it if you missed it in the bottom of the 8th.
Looks like they collided knees. We'll watch it again. Tim put his hand up, called for it.
Nicky stays in. Tim exits. By the way, white knuckle time in the AL East tonight, with the Red Sox having taken the lead now in the home 8th against Miami 7-6. The Yankees in a tie with the Sox here in the 9th.
And Houston has just tied up Oakland in the bottom of the 5th inning. The game is tied at 3.
Fun games in the American League tonight.
And the games certainly mean things these days.
2-2 curveball for strike 3.
We'll take a look. It's a breaking ball that kind of stays up there, but Romine was fooled on it. And so we've got a pinch hitter coming up for Torreyes. It's Neil Walker.
Switch hitter on the bench. Torreyes finishes 0 for 3. Eight home runs for Walker. You got Gardner and Stanton to follow, so you'd rather, for a number of reasons, get Walker here.
Walker, a switch hitter who is far superior from the left side in just about every category. 7 of his 8 home runs have come left-handed. Hitting .236 as a lefty, just .172 as a righty.
Walker hits it well, deep right field. The Yankees all with long balls walk it off.
So for Walker, his 9th home run, 38th driven in. It's a game winner. And the Sox, who had this one in control most of the way, saw it slip away late to the power of the Bronx Bombers.
Five runs in the final 4 innings for the Yankees tonight.
A Ford home run replay. It's a fastball down the middle, and it's gone.
Well played game by the Sox for a long while. They had the Yankees on the ropes, but too much late offense from the best home run hitting team in Major League Baseball. And the Yankees get win number 84. The Sox take loss number 80.
This is one of those games that just got away, but the importance of this game will only come when we learn of the health of Tim Anderson. As he left the ball game, you never see him leave defensively, certainly in those situations, and hopefully he's going to be okay. We will know more later on, but in the meantime, the Yankees come back and win what for them is a big one.
Huge game for a team that was 6.5 back when play started in the American League East. And we will see you tomorrow for the rubber match of this series. Yankees win. For our producer Keon Dolan-Shahi, our director Todd Benjaminson, the associate producer Chris Kamka, our technical manager Mark Harper, the executive producer Greg Bowman, and our entire NBC Sports crew. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. We say so long from New York. Coming up next, Subaru White Sox postgame live. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on NBC Sports Chicago. Good night.